In lesson 2 of this Dreamweaver CS4 digital classroom, the author introduces styling of HTML pages in Dreamweaver through the page properties panel, which is down here, as you can see, as part of the properties inspector panel itself. What I'm going to do is demonstrate how simple it is and elegant it is, an interface for styling many of the structural aspects of your page, but also that it is not a good interface once you've already styled those, because it is only linked to styles that are internal to your document and cannot be used to either create or edit and change and manage styles that are in linked style sheets. So let's take a quick look at that. Before we get started, let me just show you the code here. Very simple. We have no linked style sheets. We have no styles in our head. We simply have a body of text that is structured with H1, H2, H3, titles, headers, and some paragraph information, and a link. There is a hyperlink on this New York City subway system to a subway map. So let's go back to design view, and as the document tells us, let's go to the page properties panel as part of the properties inspector. Properties inspector panel, by the way, is very different and does behave as you would expect, allowing you to edit rules that are defined in linked and external style sheets, unlike this page properties panel, which does not. So in this page, let's do some simple styling. Let's create a default font with a serif font, and let's make the text color slightly off black, and the background color maybe slightly off pink. And there are some really nice, elegant ways of editing things like your links, so you can easily turn off underlining for all of the pseudo tags that define the A tag. You can have a link color that's defined here in the pseudo tag, copy that to the visited pseudo tag, but yet have a hot color for the active and rollover states. And then for headings, we also have a very nice, elegant interface. We can make easily all headings a sans serif font. In this case, let's use Trebuchet. And we can define sizes by the heading level. We could make them all bold. And we could say this one should be 1.4 Ms. And H2 should be 1. Let's make it 1M. In fact, let's not change. Let's make that 1M, because we're let's make that 1.2 M, because that's a subheading. It's here that we want to make this 1M, because that's really just our byline, and that byline could be a nice reddish color, and this could be even more slightly off black, and we could apply all of that styling. In fact, we could go back and give ourselves a little bit more white space, a little bit on top, and we have a nicely or somewhat nicely styled page. I'm not sure about the color of the background. Let's get something even a little more subtle like that. Okay, now if we look at the code, we see that all the styles are in a style tag of the head tag of the document. And most, if not all of these styles, are probably styles we want to find across our site through a linked cascading style sheet. Now, the good news is, in Dreamweaver, it's actually pretty easy to do. What we would do to do that is 2 steps. One, we will create a new CSS file. I'm just going to call that test, and it'll say that that doesn't exist, so I'm going to create that over here. And then what I can do is look at my styles in my CSS Styles panel. And in fact, I probably want to open this up a little larger. And here we go. And I would take all of these styles here. And since I've linked a CSS, I could just drag these in to the CSS. And now they are, as you can see, the code is actually taken from within that style tag, although it leaves a style tag, which we can clean up. And it moves it into the test CSS that I created, which I can then save. And as you can see, it all comes together in design mode. However, when I go to edit, let's say background color, and I say I don't like the background color of this page, I'd like to make it go back a little bit more to that pink. I can do that, but when I do that, it styles it again in an internal style and doesn't update it in the cascading style sheet that's linked. Now, if I go back to design view and do that, let's say, look at the CSS in my body and change the font, let's say to Arial, right? It will do that. And it will do that where? It will do that in the CSS style sheet. So the properties inspector itself is pretty good at maintaining linked styles, but never use the page properties panel, which is actually looks like it's part of the properties inspector, to edit styles once they've been created.